My name is Jewel and I live in Bear Green in Surrey. The 100 Hats Challenge was me doing 100 open water swims wearing a different hat each time. I'd only been doing open water swimming for about 6 months and decided that for Halloween it would be a bit of a giggle to put on a silly costume and a silly hat. And it had such a good response from my fellow swimmers that it started me thinking about the hats that I've got at home that I've collected over a number of years, and wouldn't that be a good idea to use for fundraising? I'm raising money for 2 charities, Alzheimer's Research UK. My dad died 4 years ago with dementia, and Surrey Young Carers. Because I work in a school and we have a number of young carers at the school, I started off with hats that I'd already owned, and then as the challenge progressed, I became a bit more adventurous and started making my own, and with time they became more flamboyant and bigger and heavier and more silly. So I had a calendar and I would try and make a hat to fit what was going on in the world, and the hats could take up to 15 hours to make. The Rubik's Cube was made to commemorate the patenting of the original Rubik's Cube. I made the Spam hat to commemorate Spam Awareness Week, and the 99 cone was made for my 99th swim. My fellow swimmers were amazing. They were very supportive, very encouraging. I had lots of people lend me hats, and there was a sense of anticipation of, well, what's the hat lady going to wear next? I think I've raised about 3,200 to date, which is absolutely brilliant. I've had so much fun doing this. I've loved the challenge, not just of the swimming, but of making the hats and researching the themes, and it's a great outlet for my creativity.
My name is Mick Stanley and I'm known as Major Mick. I built the first Titanic at the beginning of lockdown. When I completed the boat, I wondered what I should do with it. And then the idea came that I should row it up and down the canal and raise money for the local hospice, which I did for the first year. Although it worked perfectly well, it was made of wood which had woodworm in it. And so I then decided to build a second boat. I built the boat from 2 sheets of corrugated iron and then a collection of items which I have found in the workshop. The stem post is made of wood, which I found on West Wittering Beach. The stern is made of shelving, which I had no use for. And the seat is made from an old dog's bed, which is extremely comfortable. I usually go for 3 hours, and in that time I can travel up to 6 miles. For the last 18 months I've been raising money for Children on the Edge, and they are funding an orphanage in Kiev. I did 120 miles last year, and I hope to do another 100 miles this year. For collecting money on the canal, I have a large bamboo stick. Everyone's always very generous. Over the last 18 months for Children on the Edge, I've raised over 12 or 13,000 pounds, and I'm hoping to raise a total of 15,000 pounds. Well, being nominated for the Just Giving Award came as an enormous surprise. I'm very, very pleased, not really for myself, but for all the people who have been very kind and donated so much money over the last 3.5 years.
I'm Lois from Gatehouse of Fleet in Galloway in the southwest of Scotland. She was always artistic, Mum, and she never really stopped drawing or painting. She would always have a sketchbook with her. Both myself and my brother were worried, particularly for her frailty. I was Googling early stages of Alzheimer's, and she ticked every single box. I was going through all sorts of cupboards of Mum's, looking at what was there, and I found a fisherman's smock that she used to wear all the time. So this is a garment that just, to me, reminded me of everything that Mum used to be when we were younger. And I just immediately said, I want to use it as a canvas. I'd got involved in a thing called the 100 Days Project, where you do a creative activity every day for 100 days and you record it. So I decided I would do some embroidery on the smock. And I genuinely had no idea if I had the skill to do it. I hadn't embroidered since I was really quite young, but I gave it a go. So the embroidery was partly self-care and mindfulness, but it was absolutely unlocking stories as well. And I was writing about it, particularly on Instagram. There's a whole community of 100 Days people who seemed to be quite inspired by the stories that I was saying about Mum. So I turned it into a fundraiser. I can't bear the thought of anyone going through dementia on their own. Alzheimer's Scotland felt like the obvious organisation for me to support. What I would say is think about what you love doing, because if you're passionate about something, you can probably inspire other people to throw some money at it for a cause that you're passionate about as well.